If you've been stuck at 10 to 50K a month for months, even years, in this video, I'm going to share with you why you're stuck and why you keep on this consistent cycle. And I'm just going to rant and tell you why you're stuck, how to fix this, and what the solution actually is. Okay, so let's dive straight into it. If you're stuck at that 10 to 50K a month level, right? Whether you have a marketing agency, your consulting business, coaching business, doesn't matter what you sell. If you're stuck in that phase, there's a few problems that exist. And until you solve these problems, and there's a particular order in which you need to solve them in, you won't be able to scale. And it's probably the reason why you feel constraints, right? You try to scale, you get burnt out, you're working more hours, you're literally grinding in the business, putting in more effort, scraping YouTube for tutorials on, best lead gen, how to use AI and how to use, scraping all these ideas on what you need to do. And you keep thinking that to solve this, you need to keep putting in more time, putting in more effort, putting in more hours, when in reality, scaling to $100,000 plus a month, making millions online is actually about doing less. It's not about doing more. And this is a very counterintuitive point, because it's like, okay, well, if I want to make more, I have to do more. And you got Alex Hormozi saying, do more, just, hammer it. And yes, to a degree, but it's doing more of the right actions and less of the ones that aren't producing high ROI, high margin. And this is why you're stuck. And so I'll kind of go into details about where you're at in this phase when you're making 10 to 50K a month. And and first of all, why would you even listen to me? Well, I've made over $6.5 million online. I've scaled multiple agencies. I've sold SaaS, consulting, coaching, done it all. I've taught in Sam Ovens masterminds. I'm an investor in school.com. Like I've been in this space for 10 years. Okay? I know everything you need to do to scale. I've done this with multiple businesses. I'm now running Revolutionaire, doing this with my own business. And I'll just tell you, here's where you're stuck and what to solve in this order. Okay. So typically in this phase, you're typically running multiple different either services, right? You have either do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, you're doing these different things, or you're doing an agency service, like you have multiple, you're doing full service marketing agency, right? And you start doing a lot of these custom things, right? You start doing this custom thing, that custom thing, custom pricing. Each client is like, okay, well, maybe I do one-on-one for this call, maybe I do this for this guy. And you start doing multiple different things. Now, if you're smart enough to just focus on one thing, then your next problem is going to be around inconsistent appointment generation, lead generation, client acquisition. Because the sheer fact is that the more conversations you have, the more money you will make. It's a simple equation as that. Now, a lot of people in the space now are, fantasizing about no sales calls. They don't want to do any sales calls. They just want to do automated income without doing any sales calls. And it's like no one wants to do the fucking work anymore. And it blows my mind. It's like everyone's lazy. They don't want to do the work. They want to, if there's more efficient ways to do this, of course, we're going to do the most efficient way. But if there's a proven model to start printing money and start to making a lot of impact in other people's life, in other people's businesses, and you can do it in a very efficient, effective way, the reason why you're looking at these alternatives or looking at the grass is always greener on the other side, is because what you have right now is not scalable. And it's creating that, one, frustration in terms of scaling. You're not growing to the speed at which you want to grow. You're not making the money you want to make. You're putting a lot of hours and not getting rewarded for that. And it's simply because you don't have the right systems in place, right? In order to do this. Now, yes, sales calls are a requirement, especially if you're selling high ticket services. Now, if you want to sell low ticket, you can automate that. If you want to sell even software, you can automate that. But the sheer fact is, if you want to scale to 100,000 a month, a few $100,000 a month, $1 million a month, whatever your goals are, there's a process where you need to start to have where you can actually get people coming to you to learn more about your services, because most people are still in this phase of doing manual outreach, right? Or they're trying to now grow their personal brand because everyone's thinking you need to grow your personal brand, so you keep pumping them more content. Now you get on the content hamster wheel, you get on the cold outreach hamster wheel, and you start getting onto these hamster wheels thinking and keep running faster and faster. but the wheel keeps spinning in the same place. You're not moving faster. You're not getting more efficiency. You're not increasing your income. You're not increasing your net profit. You're not increasing the quality of your life because you're running on this hamster wheel. And what this usually stems from, again, is number one, is the model you're currently running is not efficient, meaning it can't scale. Two, the actual client acquisition system is very manual, or is very time consuming, or it's very inefficient, meaning you got to send 10,000 cold emails, or you got to send thousands of LinkedIn connections, or you're going to do thousands of outbound calls just to even get an appointment. Very inefficient. And the third piece of this is in terms of actually converting clients, it's very inefficient. Again, you're doing a lot of outbound, or if you're doing a lot of inbound stuff, you're the one that has to be on the call, because a lot of the times it's not repeatable and it's not systematized in a way that pre-sells people before they even get on the call, and it's just a very seamless process of actually converting them into sales. And so there's a few things, and then the last piece of that, I would say actually stems from probably the underlying pinnings of it all, is your current identity, who you believe you are and who you believe you can become and who you are becoming is not in direct alignment with that which is your hygiene standard of performance of making $100,000, making a few $100,000 a month as your bare minimum standard. And so you still operating in the same way as when you're making 10 to 50K a month is not what's required to get you to 100,000 plus. To get $100,000 plus a month, you actually got to be doing less. You got to actually be okay with having large blocks of time in your schedule free. You got to actually be comfortable with creating systems and processes and compensation plans and incentive models to inspire and build a team that can do it in a very lean fashion. You don't need to have a big team. You can get to a few $100,000 a month with like 3 to 4 people. I see some org charts where they have like 28 people and they're making like 400 or 500 grand a month. I'm like, man, you could do it with like 5 people. I don't know why they have so many people on their team. It kind of blows my mind. And so there comes to that standpoint, but it's just it boils down to an inefficient model, lack of appointments, lack of a system to convert those into sales, and then the actual mindset or the underpinnings of the psyche of the founder or the owner is still operating in this old way of operating. Bottom line. And this creates a lot of, internal dredged up emotion and pent up frustration. And you're like, why am I not growing? You're getting sometimes pissed off. You're getting into this place. And I've been there. So the reason why I know this is because I've been through this phase multiple times. And I'll tell you that in the 10 to 50K a month range is kind of probably the most hardest place to be in, because it sometimes does require you to grind and you're kind of doing the same things, and it seems very repetitive and it's supposed to feel like that. But there comes a place where you need to then shift the model, specifically of the model of the business. And we're going to go into specifics, and I'll give you the sauce. So hold on, you're going to get that. But the thing is, as you're running this play, you have to shift in order to grow. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, what do they say? You're going to continue to get what you always got. So you have to shift the model. So what's number one? Okay, if you want to get out of this, number one, 100%, you need to shift the model. Now, you need to do what I call a hybrid leverage offer. Now, I throw this out there. People are, what does this mean? Okay. Hybrid means, in order to scale, let's say you're running a marketing agency or something like this, right? Well, in order to scale this type of business, right? Or let's say you're doing one-on-one coaching, whatever. Let's say you're doing done for you or one-on-one. It doesn't matter. Taking a lot of your time, right? Well, in order to scale those, the more you scale, the more clients you get, what happens? The more time you have to put into it. So if you then get more clients or you grow, your margins shrink, your time gets constrained, you get pulled into everything. You have no time to do anything else but work in the business, not on the business. And so at this phase, you need to shift the model. Now with hybrid, a lot of people say, oh, you need to shift and start doing one-on-one or group coaching, or you need to sell info products, or you need to do done with you, or sell it, go high level SaaS, or whatever, build a personal brand, whatever whatever they're selling you, or the growth partner model or growth consulting or whatever they throw at you. But really what this stems in, and what I believe and what I've just seen consistently, and it's so funny because what I'm telling you is what all these guys do, but they tell you to do this other thing, which is hilarious. And I've been preaching this for the past few months, really past few years, about look at what people do, not what they say. It's just hilarious, okay? Look what they do, not what they say. Because I take this and I do this exact same process, which I'm telling you to do. I use in my own business. And it's highly profitable, it's highly efficient, it's highly scalable. So with this model, right, it's a hybrid of them. So I'll give you an example for a marketing agency. So with a marketing agency, a lot of the times you're doing done-for-you services, right? A lot of times you're doing full service, you're doing a bunch of different things. Well, in order to scale, if you look at any agency that's scaled, they either do one of two models. I think that the hybrid model is the best, most scalable. But here with the hybrid, you could, again, there's multiple different models, done with you, done for you, all this stuff, right? Well, you take a hybrid of those. So what I want you to do, and this is how you're going to unlock this, and I have a deeper training in the description that goes deeper into this, but basically, you take the 80-20 principle. So look at what is producing 80% of your client results right now. And again, it doesn't matter what business you run, if you're coaching, consulting, whatever, or a marketing agency, what's the 80%? Okay, there's one thing that just, once someone does, boom, they get the results, okay? Now, that usually stems from putting 20% of what you're offering and your service is producing 80% of the results. Okay, this is the 80-20 principle, and it's true in any business, so I don't care what you do. Now, look at what is the 80% that you do that takes all your time, that's only producing 20% of the results. What you want to do is you want to take that 80% of your time and you want to turn that into a hybrid. So you mix in done with you, you mix in group coaching calls, you mix in a community, you mix into even one-on-one calls to like onboarding, but you kind of convert that so you're not doing the work. It's basically systematized, automated. You also put that into an online training program, which they can go through. And then the 80% of the results, that takes 20% of your time, that's where you deliver in maybe a one-on-one fashion or a group coaching fashion or an onboarding session. Because what I found, it typically is that you can get someone very short amount of time, great results in like the first 7 days. If you just do the thing, first 7 to 14 days, whatever, if you just get them to do that thing, which takes some time at the beginning, but boom, now you have it systematized, the back end, you don't have to do any more additional work. And you can systematize this and SOP it towards you don't even need to do it. And if you have this model, it's high ticket, it's monthly recurring, it's systematized, meaning it's repeatable across any client can come in, get a predictable result. Any team member can do it, anybody can sell it, and that's where you could remove yourself from sales calls. You don't need to do sales calls anymore. You have someone else sell it, you have someone else fulfill on it. All you have to do is show up and they get access to you at a certain capacity in a group setting typically, and you have trainings that they can go through automatically and get the result that you promise and get it in a way better fashion and get better client results because you're taking a hybrid and you're using high forms of leverage, systems, content, one-to-many delivery model. And you're systematizing the results-driven process and generating process. And so that's going to free up 80% of your time. 80% of your time is now going to be freed up to work on the business. Boom. That's going to solve a massive part of your problem right there. You just got 80% of your time back. Now you can work on the business, streamlining things. Now the second thing is now you have 80% of your time back. Now you can go into solve the second problem, which is your inconsistent lead flow and appointment generation problem. Now, if you're doing cold outreach or you're doing content or whatever, what is the 80-20 there? What is the 80% that's generating 80% of your appointments and book calls and clients? It's probably taking 20% of your time. All this other stuff that you're putting your time in is not getting results. Now, what I recommend and what I believe, you need to be mixing. You don't just want to focus on organic or paid. You need to be doing both. Now, you can start, and these ad platforms, I don't think you guys understand. Their algorithms are actually insane. Meta's ad platform is insane. Google's ad platform is insane. These days, you don't even need to do any specific targeting. A lot of the times, it's really just the creative, who you're targeting, how you're targeting them, where you're driving them to. But you could spend 20 to 30, $50 a day to start, very small budgets, and you can scale those and start generating leads. Literally, like I launched brand new meta campaigns like a couple of days ago. Already got around 9 leads in the first like 2 days and 2 book calls. For like book calls were like $40 calls booked in like 2 days. So if you know how to do it, and you know how to do it right, you can print with this, right? And we're scaling up those campaigns. But a lot of that stuff also comes from knowing how to run it, how to set up these systems, and doing organic. So we also do a lot of organic where we have inbound calls coming straight to us, right? So you're using mix of the both. Your email list, YouTube channel, we use LinkedIn, we use these other channels to generate inbound, and we also use paid to funnel them in. And then that's the third piece, is you need to have what's called a pre-selling mechanism, which is not just, the VSL, but you need to have a full system around that that's going to pre-sell them, nurture them, get them in like absolutely hyped up about what you have to offer, and get them so sold that this is the way that's going to help them achieve the results. And so you come up with your own unique proprietary method, your own unique mechanism. You put that into a pre-selling process through a video, through a sales page, and everything like that. So they go through it. They know what you do, how you do it. You've backed it up with lots of proof and testimonials and case studies. Even if you don't have those, you're selling them on the model. Boom, you can then convert them into sales very predictably. And then what you can do is, since that's so dialed in, you have one offer, one price point on the front end, and one dialed in sales process and client acquisition system. Guess what? You can remove yourself. You can plug someone else into there, and they can start converting. Now you're not doing sales calls. Now you have 80% of your time. Now you got probably 20%, other 20% of your time was probably doing sales calls, or now a lot of your time was doing sales calls. Now you have basically 100% of your time to work on the business, get your clients better results, build out a team, build out a vision, build out something inspiring to scale and grow on the long term. And then business becomes fun. Now you're making a few $100,000 a month in profit just entering into your bank account. And it's so fun. But the reason why it doesn't feel fun right now is because it's a grind, man. It's a grind. And you can get out of this very simply, right? And then I would say the last piece is you need to upgrade your identity. If you're still believe in all these limiting beliefs, like, oh, I can't do that model, or I can't run paid ads and make it work, or paid ads don't work for me, or I've tried all these organic systems and this and they don't work. It's like, well, then you're going to stay stuck forever. And if you're like, oh, well, I can't get my clients better results if they take some of the responsibility of the results. I actually think this is the opposite. They'll actually get better results. I have like 260 video testimonials from people. When I was doing it for them, they fucking just rely, oh yeah, they fucking trying to put on a silver platter. It's like, no, well, you have to take responsibility for the results. Now, we're going to work with you to produce them. But at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but there's only 2 things really guaranteed in life is, what do they say, death and taxes. Well, one, Trump's probably going to be removing taxes, so that's number 1. And number 2, I believe in God, so I believe we get an afterlife. And so there's really nothing guaranteed in life. So the only thing that's guaranteed is that if you put in the work and you put in the effort and you do what's required and necessary, you will get the results. There's no other result to be had. So all these guys saying, oh, you don't pay, and all this bullshit guarantees. Look, is this the best possibility of success? Yes. Is this the best system and model to get you results? Absolutely. Has it worked for years? Yes. Will it continue to work? Yes, because we work off timeless principles, not little gimmicks. And we work off systems that are proven to work. So this is some of the things, and this is why you can't scale past, I would say like 10, 20, 30, 50K a month. This is why most people even stay stuck at 100 grand a month. But it's really simple when you break it down. And I feel like a lot of people just don't understand what they need to do because they're distracted. Everyone's telling you to do these other things. And it's like, man, if you just focus on a scalable model that you can put 10, 20, 50 clients through, and still get amazing client results, not break your business, actually spend less time on fulfillment, not increase your time. When every new client comes on, if you're spending more time, that's inefficiency. It can't scale. But if you're just have that same time spent for every client and it's systematized, you can get 20, 30 clients and still spend the same amount of time each month, then you can scale that, right? And then it's really just about getting more conversations, getting more in front of the right people, putting that into a repeatable, consistent process where you can then delegate and you can scale it, and then changing and altering your identity and what you believe is even possible, that's what's going to help you scale, man. So wanted to create this. Hopefully you found massive value in it. I dropped a video in the description here about this whole hybrid leverage offer model. If you're a marketing agency consultant or coach, this is what's going to help you scale to 100,000 plus a month. And it kind of lays out my offer if you want to look at that. We also have testimonials, case studies. I've been doing this for a decade. I have hundreds of testimonials, worked with over 1,400 clients over the past few years, made millions of dollars online. So if you resonate with this, go below, check that video out. And yeah, man, implement this stuff, take action on it. The first piece is change the model, put in systems to start scaling, and change this internally, the mindset, and shift your identity. And there's no reason why you won't be able to scale past this in the next few months. And I believe that this is the model where you can start printing 100,000 a month in profit. I even think you could start doing a few $100,000 a month in profit, spending less time, less energy, and less waste with what you're currently doing right now. So go check that out. Hopefully you found massive value in the video, and I'll see you in the next one. And God bless you.